Good morning, everyone. That's the waiting room opened. Welcome. We've got a couple of minutes before we start properly. And we're letting a few more people in. Thank you for making it. I know that it's kind of a struggle because it's a two sort of step process sometimes, which makes it a bit difficult from time to time. But you made it, you got through, and that makes us extra secure. I've put lots of security into this because I've heard some stories about Zoom bombing, and I don't want that to happen to us. So thank you for making it. For those of you who are watching the recording because you couldn't make it, I'm really sorry. I would love to help you individually, but there's hundreds of you and I can't. So if you send me an email saying, I couldn't get on, where do I find the video? It's all on my website. All of it is on lifelongliteracy.com. And I'm not being rude and I'm not ignoring you. I just can't I would spend all day individually troubleshooting everyone. But you made it. So well done. And more people will make it as time goes on. But that's why I'm recording, so that those who didn't make it can still participate in some way. And very soon, we're all going to be absolutely amazing at this. And we're going to look back on when we had trouble getting onto Zoom, going, do you remember those times when Zoom seemed complicated? So there you go. So welcome, everyone. We've got another minute. And then we're going to introduce a new guest. We've got a new guest today because, to be honest, look, I love Finn. I do. He's wonderful. But I don't think he's a camera dog. I don't think he's a camera dog. So I have someone new today. At 11 o'clock, I shall reveal the new person. Sorry. It's going a bit weird over there. You're going to have to make the jump down. All right. Okay. A few seconds to go before we're all in, and I will introduce you to the new guest. Are you excited? Also today we're going to talk about consonants. Vowels are tricky. They're very tricky. Consonants not so tricky, so we'll get them done. It is 11 o'clock. Welcome everyone. Thank you for coming to Spelling for Life. These are Spelling for Life lessons in my Gym Jams. Now today, because we're on the run up to Easter, I have got my Peter Alexander fluffy duck sparkly legs pajamas with ducks all up the sleeves and on the back as well. It's quite a sight, isn't it? But without further ado, before we get into the lesson proper, I would like to introduce to you, right on cue, this is Chicken Nugget. Actually, her name is Nala, but we call her Chicken Nugget because, well, she's very nuggety and looks like well, she doesn't look like a chicken at all. I don't know why we call her Chicken Nugget, but she's my daughter's dog. She is Sasha's dog, not the admin daughter, Imogen, and she joins us today. She doesn't mind being on camera at all, as you can see. I'm going to give her a little treat because she's a good nugget. Give me a paw. Give me a paw. Give me a paw. No, she's she's not that great at giving paws, but she's very nice anyway. We love our nugget very much. So I don't know if she's going to get down, but Imogen, it's now time to take Chicken Nugget out. Come on. Her real name is Nala, like Nala from The Lion King. So I'm just going to stop people's videos. Make sure that your camera and your video is stopped if you possibly can. Imogen usually tries to do it for everybody, but it just makes everything smoother. That was Chicken Nugget. All right, everyone, let's get into it. Today, we are going to talk about consonants. You should all be able to see my presentation now. All right. Welcome to Spelling for Life. Going over yesterday's homework, I hope some people got some time to choose 5 names and write them down and take away the vowels, because we did an introduction to the difference between vowels and consonants, and then tried to shout them. I hope there was a lot of extremely hilarious shouting yesterday of names that don't have vowels in them, because for every syllable in every word, you have to have a vowel sound. Vowels are the syllables and the consonants cluster around them. So we learned a little bit about that yesterday. Today, we are going to learn about consonants and what they say. I'm going to use the word say. I suppose it's more linguistically accurate to use the word represent, but say and make, I don't have a problem using those terms. You know what I mean. So what consonants say? First of all, there are three main rules with consonants. There are three main things that I want us to focus on today. The first one is the QU rule. So going up to my consonants here, I've got the board separated into consonants here and vowels here. And as time goes on, I'll explain the whole thing to you, but one step at a time. So the only tile here that contains two letters up in the consonant, up in the top row of the consonant board is this one. It's the letter Q, and it's always written with the letter U in English words. It's always written with the letter U. The sounds that it represents are Q, and afterwards there is always a vowel. And that vowel, and we learned yesterday that vowels always contain your voice. You always have your voice on with a vowel. These are the vowels with your voice off. Do you see that? Vowels are voiced. So there's always a voiced sound, a vowel, after QU. So it takes on that voicing. The Q bit takes on the voicing, like in the word queen. Yep. Queen. Do you see how that works? So I see a lot of spelling mistakes when we have queen and quack and quick with children spelling KW or CW. And actually, KW and CW are not common consonant clusters in English. We don't do that. That's not how we spell in English words. And yet I see this as a spelling mistake. So from now on, if you are spelling a word that begins or has Q in it, like request, yep, you got to use QU. That's the first thing. Second thing, Q is always written with the letter U. That is your first rule. It's the QU rule. Now, I'm going to give you a few seconds just to grab your pencils, blank piece of paper or a new page in your book. If you've got an exercise book and you're following along, copy this down. Q is always written with the letter U. That's a lot to write, especially if you're little. But go ahead. I'll give you about 30 seconds to write that. Q is always written with the letter U. You don't have to write the title, the Q rule. Just this. Q is always written with the letter U. Now, I've already cut and pasted all of this onto my website. So you can, if you need to, you can go back and copy this sentence. Q is always written with the letter U. So don't worry if you feel like we're going too fast. This is recorded and that sentence is there for you again to come back to. But because this is live right now, we're going to go to the next one. We've dealt with QU. That's the first thing I want you to know about consonants. Now next, here we go. Oh goodness. You know what I've forgotten to do again? It's not Monday, is it? No, it's Tuesday. Now, I'm going to stop sharing for a second because I want to see if anyone was here last week and can tell me the Norse god that Tuesday is named after. Yes, today is Tuesday. Who's the Norse god? Thor is Thursday. That's coming up in 2 days. That's Thursday. But who is it now? Somebody wrote Chiu. From Sam. Edie, it's you. Yes. Tyr or Tyr was the Norse god of war. and got a camera on there. And Kirsty Steinhauser. Sorry, just making sure those cameras are off. The god of war of the Germanic mythology gave us Tuesday. So it is Tuesday. To you, or Tyr was the god of war, and that's what this day is named after. Everybody at the top of your page, write Tuesday. It's a really good idea to learn to spell the days of the week, and they're very oddly spelled because they're taken from this Germanic Norse mythology. All right, back to the slideshow. Here we go. Q is always written with the letter U. The next thing that you need to know, the next consonant that you need to know about is the letter C. Most of the other consonants in the alphabet represent one sound. You've got B. Doesn't really represent anything else except that sound in words, unless, of course, it's being that silent letter at the end of words like crumb and thumb and so on. But that's a story for another day. I keep saying that, don't I? You got to start somewhere. So this usually is just B. This usually is just D. And so on. I could do that for most of those letters. They don't vary a lot. But the letter C is one that varies. It's one that can represent two sounds. And I'm going to draw you a picture now. I'm going to draw you a picture, and if you want to be artistic later on today, you can also copy this picture down. But it's a picture of an old steam train. Anyone who has done lessons with me, you're going to know what this is. This is the sea train. And I would like to acknowledge the Lindemood Lips program for inventing the sea train. I did not invent this train. I was trained to I was trained to use this train to explain the sea rule. Not my invention, Lindemood. That's whose invention it is. So there's an old steam train. And by the way, I am absolutely rubbish at drawing. So you're going to have to just bear with my amazing artwork. And that train moves along the track in the direction that we write. Do you see how this is the direction that we read and write? From left to right, that way. That's how the train's moving along. And there's steam coming out of the chimney here, or the funnel, I don't know what it's called. And it moves along the track making this sound. And I'm going to put the letter K into these slanted brackets to show that I mean because the letter K always represents the sound K. So it's moving along. This is the sea train going in this direction, and it comes up to a signal, and signals make trains change direction.
Your screen's still sharing, so.
Yes, I want it to.
Right, because they can't really see that.
Yeah, good work. Imogen is saying, stop sharing right now. I will. That's a brilliant plan. Good work. Somebody probably said that already, didn't they? Thank you. Thank you, Linda, or whoever's on Linda's device. All right, so there we go. There's the sea train. That's much easier to see, isn't it? All right, so it goes along the track, making this sound. And it comes up to a signal. This is a signal here. And it goes down a different track, saying its second sound. Now, there were three letters in this signal that C comes before. See how it's C first, then these three letters? Three letters make C say a different sound. What are the three letters? What are the three letters? Oh, you guys are good. I like what you're saying there, Remy. CVC. CVC is definitely a good principle to understand, but in this case, looking up into the cloud here, it's these three again. If you've seen any of my other lessons, you'll know that these three are really related. They behave very similar. They're in this bizarre love triangle, these three letters here, right? So E, I, and Y are the three letters that cause C to go down this track and make a S sound. They're the only letters. They're the only letters. So here are some example words. Are you ready? letter C, going along, comes up to E, and E will make the C say s, like in the word sell. This is my cell phone. Sell. Not I'm going to sell you something. That's a different pattern. But an egg is a cell. There was a prison cell. This is my cell phone. That's the word sell, where the E is making the C say s. Also, if you decorate a cake, there's this lovely sugary substance that you can put on the top of it called icing. I-S-ing. And this I here causes the C to say s. It's not iking, it's icing. The I makes the C say s. And if it's very cold weather, we'll take ice again, because ice is actually a really good example of all three of these. If it's cold weather and there's lots of ice lying on the ground, then it's icy. And again, the Y makes the C say s. So we've got sell, but actually I've just changed my mind about what a good pattern here would be. Always doing it on the spot. Ice. That's actually a brilliant example. The E makes the C say s in ice. The I makes the C say s in icing. And the Y makes the C say s in icy. Do you see how that works? I certainly hope so. Somebody's written, what about sauce? Well, what about sauce? The E in sauce makes the C say s. All right, so let's continue. I'm going to share my screen with you again. Here's the C rule. Get ready to write it down. When C comes before, not after, before E, I, or Y, it must say S. So if you want C to do that, E, I, or Y are your letters that will do that. And if you want C to continue to make a K sound, you can't put E, I, or Y afterwards. So copy that down. Make sure you start with a capital letter and end with a full stop, because this is a sentence. I'll give you a moment to write that down, and then I'm going to draw you something new. All right. Are we ready? Let's go. This time we've done with C. C can go back. We're going to take the next letter in the alphabet that can represent more than one sound. Next consonant. I mean, we're all on consonants today. It's the letter G. The sound that it usually makes is G. So we're going to draw the G train going along the track, saying G, 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 G. It's going along that track, making a G sound. G, 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 G. That's its normal, expected sound. However, there's a signal that makes G say its second less common sound. Do you know what that sound is? I bet you do. It's J. So I'm going to write J with the letter J to show that it's making that second sound. G, 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 J, 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 J. Here's the thing with G though. Even before these three letters, it can still say G. So it has a choice. It's not must say, it's may say. It may say G, it may say J. But there are only three letters that can convert G to J. Who's got a theory about what they are? Think it through, think it through. Think patterns. Think patterns. Are they coming up with lovely patterns?
Turn off screen share, Mama.
Pardon?
Turn off screen share.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Turn off screen share. That's why I need you, Imogen. Sorry, everyone. So drawing the G train. Down here like this. There are three letters. that make G do that? What are they? Think about patterns. Spelling is all pattern based. It's all to do with patterns. I can't see my cursor. That's weird. All right, spelling is all pattern based. The three letters are E, I, and Y again. Yeah, those three letters, they work together. They work in the same way a lot of the time. Something really weird with my cursor going on. I'm going to press escape. Okay, that should be better. Cool. All right. So I'm going to share my screen again. And this time I'm going to get you to write down the G rule. Here we go. Here's the G rule. You've done the C rule, now the G rule. When G comes before E, I, or Y, it may say J. Write that down. That's your next rule. When G comes before E, I, or Y, it may say J. It doesn't have to. It may say J. And those are the only way you can make it that happen is by adding E, I, or Y after the G. So the G comes first, then these letters. All right, now all of this is available again on my website. I've already posted it there, and the recording will be up later. But we're going to do some example words of G saying G and G saying J before E, I, or Y. We've got get, and the E is having no effect on the G. But then we also, just check the messages in, then we also have gem. A gem is a precious stone. So in gem, the E is making the G say J. G before E, I, or Y may say J. Then we've got the word give. The I is having no effect on the G, but I can make the G say J, like in the word giant. The I is making the G say J. And I can, what's the word that I like to use? Oh yes, baggy. When you wear clothes that are loose fitting, you can call them baggy. Baggy clothes, they're like bags. Pajamas are a bit baggy. The Y is not making the G say J. But if you go to the gym to get fit, the Y is making the G say J. Sorry, no arrow for baggy. So G before E, I, or Y may say J, it may say G, but there are only three letters that can affect G in this way, and it's E, I, and Y again. Always cropping up and changing things, these three letters, especially E. All right, one more share because I'm going to show you the homework and then it's going to be question time. Oh, don't play from the start. All right, straight onto the homework. Here we go. First, make sure you've got your rules copied down. Make sure you've got your rules copied down. So if you go to my website, and I'll show you the link in a minute, the rules are there. So you can copy them down again. Secondly, find more examples of the QU rule. That's where Q is written with a U. Third, find more examples of the C rule. That's where C is making a S sound before E, I, or Y. Next, find more examples of the G rule, where G is making a J sound before E, I, or Y. Here's some extra work. If you want to, you can find exceptions to these rules because there are exceptions. Here's some extra work if you're really keen. Figure out why these words are exceptions. Why is it that they're exceptional? There's always a reason. It's never random. And very soon we're actually going to come to a lesson about why words break the rules or look like they're breaking the rules. This recording and the homework can be found online at this address, lifelongliteracy.com/free-webinars. You'll all start to get used to finding this stuff online
Would you like me to type that
very,
in
very
chat?
soon. Would you, darling? Imogen's going to type that into chat. And we've got two things left to do. First of all, put your hand up if you want to ask a question, and one by one, we'll unmute you. You can, if you don't know how to put your hand up, also ask a question via chat if you want to. Do that. And I'm actually looking at some of the questions now. So I'm just going through chat to make sure that I'm not missing any questions. There's a couple of people lined up. So Imogen, if you could unmute Elizabeth, that would be great.
Why are there rules?
Well, brilliant question. I love that question. Here's what you've got to think. You've got to think in terms of mathematics, okay? There are tens of thousands of words, of different words in English, and 26 letters. So we have to make a choice. Are we going to add more letters to the alphabet so that we can make all those words? Or are we going to just recombine those letters to make new words with signals in them to say, this is how you say this word? And what we decided was to recombine the letters and have signals like the E, I, Y. So you could call them rules, or you could call them what you would expect based on the order of the letters in words, what you would expect to say. Because spelling gives us information about pronunciation, where the word came from, and what the word means. That's all that spelling does, all those things. So there's rules so that we can and if we learn the rules, we can quickly figure out what the words mean and how to spell them and how to say the words. Do you see how that works?
Yeah.
It's a system, but you've got to be taught the system. It's not a system with endless rules. Those rules stop. And once you know them and can use them, you become a better speller. You become more fluent, and it becomes easier for you to read as well. So that's why I love talking about the rules. Mm-hmm. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Next person, we've got Edie. Edie, you're up.
Is the word queen part of the QU rule?
Yes.
Is the word, it is? Okay.
Yep, it certainly is. Yep, the word queen. So Q is always written with a U, and the rule is that when you're using a Q, use a U, you'll be right most of the time. And there are some words, but they're not English words, that we do sometimes use that don't have a Q. Don't have a U with the Q. And if you want to do extra work, you can find the exceptions and figure out why they're exceptions.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. All right, next person, Emma. Or no, Rachel, sorry. And Rachel, I know you're the parent, but your lovely daughter has been asking some beautiful questions, so go ahead.
Yes, thank you. Why do people have money? Why did the world come up with money? If the world had no money, then no one would be poor. Then everyone would be free. Free.
You're right. But you know what? We still need to exchange something. So if I've got something that you want and you want me to give it to you, you have to give me something in return. Otherwise, we're just going to be not rewarded for our talents or for the things that we've invested time and effort into. So what we had before money was exchange. We exchanged things. Money just became a way of doing that efficiently. So yes, people get a little bit caught up with money, but unfortunately, it makes the world go round. You just got to be sensible, and you got to be generous and kind with it.
Thank you.
You. All right. Next question. This time, definitely Emma. Can you get
Yes.
that happening? Are you unable? Oh, hi. All right. Emma.
Does jeans?
I couldn't hear that. I'm really sorry. Would you mind saying that again?
Does jeans follow the G rule?
Jeans, like a pair of jeans that you wear?
Yeah.
Well, that's got J in it. So all the words that follow the G rule have got to have a G in them. Does that make sense? So it's got to have that letter G. Do you see how that works?
Thank you.
Thank you. Good question. All right. Michelle's device, or Michelle, I'm not ever sure. You can say your name if you like, if I'm just calling out your parents' names. That's absolutely fine too. But go for it. Yes.
Do you know about Gentle Cindy?
I do. Yes. That's another way of describing the C rules and the G rules.
My mum taught me Gentle Cindy because I had dyslexia.
There you go. Well, it's a brilliant way to teach the G and C rules, don't you think?
Yep.
I really like your background too. Looks like you're at the beach. Thank you. All right, Justine, you're up next.
Is Qantas spelt with a U?
You have found the exception, one of the exceptions. Now your job is to figure out why that is.
Okay.
That sound good? Thank you. Brilliant work. Got another hand up. Now, is this about spelling, Rachel's kid? Because I do love answering your philosophical questions, but you know, we're going to try and stick to spelling since it's spelling for life. So if it's about spelling, we'll do the question. All right, here we go.
It's kind of, but I have dyslexia too.
There you go.
I have dyslexia, dysgraphia, and dyscalculia.
All the disses. Well, you're lucky you've got your mum, because she is brilliant.
Yeah, she is.
She's really good. She's amazing. Thank you for letting us know.
Thank you.
Very cool. All right. And then Emma, looks like your hand is still up. So if you have a question, I'm going to unmute you now. Go for it.
My mum is going to unmute us now.
Yep, you're unmuted. Do you have a question?
No.
I'm not sure. I don't think I can hear you. Thank you. I'm going to do some of the chat questions. Love your gym jams. Thanks. I love my gym jams too. Oh, somebody said gust. Gust as perhaps, I'll come to you, Stacey's device shortly. Thank you. Gust doesn't have an E, an I, or a Y afterwards. So it's not, the G remains saying as you would expect it to. All right, Stacey's device with your hand up. Young boy, there you go.
Why do E, I, and Y make letters say different sounds?
They were chosen to do that. They were chosen as signals to do that, as useful vowels that do that. Yeah. So we only basically needed them, and they work really well.
Okay.
That's the best I can do. I could go back into the history of it off the top of my head. I'm not sure. But thank you. That was a great question.
You want to see what we touched? No.
All right. Okay, so now let me see. What is the Tuesday thing in the sky? Tyr. Tyr is the god of war. Tyr or Tiu. Is Peter Alexander expensive? Not when you get it on special like I do. You really like Peter Alexander? Yes, I do. All right. Nugget's name is hilarious. Yes. How many PJs do you have? Not enough. Are your gym jams expensive? Not really. Q and U stuck like glue. I love that. That was brilliant. Very, very good. Just going through the chat. What's Wednesday? Well, you'll find out tomorrow. And there were some actual questions. I'm going to go to the questions. Gentle Cindy, Sense. Yep, very good. Icy. I know there's some questions here. Here they come. Put on side by side and make Lynn bigger. I'm not sure if
That was when you.
Oh, right. Okay. I don't know how to do that. What's your website name? Is lifelongliteracy.com. Are there any clues? I knew there was a brilliant question here. Are there any clues to when it doesn't make the j sound? There are some theories, and I think they are well borne out, that the origin of the word sometimes will tell you that. But off the top of my head, I can't remember whether that's Greek or, I think Greek is j, more j inclined, and non-Greek isn't. But I'm going to have to, don't quote me on that. I'm going to have to look that up. Not many clues. It's almost 50-50. Is there a reason for these rules? Is it origin of word? Sometimes origin, but also you have to think in terms of recombination. 26 letters, tens of thousands of words. We have to have some signals that will tell us what to do. And we've recombined the letters in order to do that. Let me see. What's Wednesday's name? You'll find out tomorrow. With yesterday's homework and the names, would you voice the double consonants, e.g. in Harry, would it become it could, but I would be more inclined to go like that. But that's just me. And we don't live in a world without vowels. We're very lucky not to do that. So that's up to you. What am I wearing tomorrow? You will find out. But because it's the run up to Easter, it's going to be a lot of duckies, a lot of ducky things. All right, so thank you. Someone said it was boring. Well, off you go. You're not a prisoner. I can tell you more that copper was a barrel maker. Okay, Qantas, yes, is an acronym. Okay. Peter Alexander is dyslexic too, someone said. Yes, I've heard that. Gentle Cindy, do E, I, and Y influence any other consonants? No. E has does certain things with the letter S, like house, house, but it's not one that I'm going to cover in this. It's, I think, a little bit less application for that one. Give and get are from the Vikings, I think. Not sure, I have to find out. Thank you, everyone. It is now time for the big ending. I'm going to unmute you all in a second, and we can all say goodbye. Are you ready? Here we go. Time to say goodbye. Bye, everyone. Bye. See you next time.
Hello, good job, Edie.
All right, I'm going to say goodbye. Bye. Have a lovely day.